So I have figured out what Donald Trump means by stolen. So obviously he's spelling it wrong. He's done this on purpose with this before with this word. So it looks like billions of dollars have been stolen at USAID and other agency, much of it going to the fake news media as a payoff for creating good stories about the Democrats. The left-wing rag known as Politico seems to have received 8 million. Did the New York Times receive money? Who else did? This could be the biggest scandal of them all, perhaps the biggest in history. The Democrats can't hide from this. Too big, too dirty. Okay, so the key here in the reason he deliberately is spelling it this way is this spelling. Obviously, stolen would be S-T-O-L-E-N. And see, the media never wants to address this. When they did it before with the Covfefe spelling, and he meant to spell Covfefe back in his first term, but they tried to say, oh, he doesn't know how to spell. So now they don't even say anything, because really when it's spelled like this, what it's referring to is it's like a Christmas cake, but a German Christmas cake. Okay, keyword here, German. And let me first say, before I move on, that this is not going after the German people, nor the Palestinian people, because in every country there's innocent people. But the governments, Palestine doesn't have a government. They always have a terrorist organization that controls them, that holds themselves up as the government. So the reason I think that Trump's trying to say more, because otherwise he wouldn't have spelled stolen that way, is because and this is also why we need to leave the USAID, and this is also why it's best for us to own Gaza, this is Adolf Hitler and what's his name again? Amin al-Hassini, okay? Also called the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem. He collaborated closely with the Nazis in the 1930s and also lived in Germany. Here he spread Nazi propaganda to the Arab world and urged Arabs to support the Germans. Nazi Germany also supported the uprising of the Palestinians against the British colonial power with funds and weapons. After the defeat of Germany, al-Hassini, also known as the Grand Mufti, fled to Egypt and lost his status as leader of the Palestine independence movement. But his anti-Semitic and anti-Zionistic ideas strongly influenced later today. Yes, so much so that it goes on to talk here. If you want to see it, it's a depressing movie, Munich. It's about the Jewish Olympic players that were all killed. This was in the 70s. There's a movie about it. So in 1965, 20 years after the end of World War II, the Federal Republic of Germany established diplomatic relations with Israel, which led to a severance of relations with the FRC on the part of the Arab states. The Six-Day War with Israel led to a broad movement of solidarity on the part of the German left towards the Palestinians and the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Both West German left-wing extremists and neo-Nazis cooperated with the Palestinian groups. See, so now today, this is why Germany's very upset about the USAID being removed, because that money goes to us giving to the European countries around them, and that way they can give their 121 million in humanitarian aid to Gaza. So here's my thing. Nothing against the innocent Germans of Germany. Okay, however, you do have a sect that's like some of the people like we have in this country, but you have like 100,000 of them that are the Hamas supporters. So but here's the problem. No common sense here. Like, if I was a German, okay, I would be like, no, I don't want my government getting involved, like, just because of the history. Not that you should feel guilty. The people of Germany shouldn't have to live with guilt for the rest of their life. But you should make sure that your governments feel it. because nobody should have allowed Germany to get so tight. That should have never taken place. And they're for this two-state solution. Yeah, which works perfectly, because if they're funneling humanitarian aid into Gaza, and I would imagine it's not humanitarian, because nobody's ever really helping the poor Palestinians. They're caught in the crossfire of this nightmare, and then everybody wants to blame the Jews. Okay, but they want a two-state solution, because then they can continually find ways to go after the Jews. Because look at the leadership of all the countries. They always seem to have the same, well, not Trump. I mean, Trump's different. But they seem to have the same character. They seem to have I mean, I'm not just talking about Germany, but I mean, it did start there. Really, it started back in, before that. But this Nazi stuff, and there's going to be people that are going to always want to kill the Jews, and radical Muslims want to. And at one time, German governments did. So the last thing, somebody right in their mind, if you're a government of Germany, would be like, no, not that, nothing against you, Israel, but it probably would not be best. Most especially to be the main suppliers of humanitarian aid. Here's the other problem. The Holy Roman Empire, also known as the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation after 1512, was in Central and Western Europe. Yeah. This was the Holy Roman German coin. Okay, you see the two birds. Most people knows it goes back to this, conquering nations, nothing to do with Jesus, even though they display Jesus like this. It really is nothing. It's just like how Hamas takes, these radical Islam groups, they take the Quran and they twist it. Like anybody can do that with any religion. So anyway, but it seems that there's always been this help going on with Germany and the Palestinians. And so I just think that looks bad. It just doesn't look good because of the history, and then going all the way back to Adolf Hitler being tight with the head of, Jerusalem at one time, before obviously the Holocaust took place. And then in 1972, the Munich Olympic assassination of the Israeli Olympic team. That was a member of the PLO in Lebanon. And the PLO is the Palestine Liberation. And that member then defected to the CIA. Yeah, so it's just great, isn't it? It's, all the people you don't want in charge. So this just isn't a very good look. That's all I'm saying. I mean, like, if I was the government of Germany, I'd be like, yeah, we support you, Israel, and we'll give you, we'll help you, and we don't, but I wouldn't actually be taking aid into Palestine. Because there's been accusations before that somebody is bringing weapons in for Hamas and bringing stuff in. I have no evidence for that. Nobody's reported that. That's just went through my mind. So I believe that's why Trump is spelling stolen that way. He's trying to tell people without telling you. And then when you look into Germany, they're not happy about the USAID, because that means they won't be able to send money, aid, to Palestine anymore, because they'll have to help their neighbors so that's what they don't like about it. So it's a good idea that we do control Gaza, because then there will be none of this nonsense with Germany, or because there are some radical Germans that are for the PLO. And look, the Palestinians have never had a normal government. Even when the Gaza Strip was under Israel somewhat, then you had your Arabs coming in with bombs strapped to their vests, walking onto a bus. So, yeah, it's best for us to own it, for sure. But I didn't know that Germany was the people that are the biggest givers to Palestine, humanitarian. Of course they want a two-state system, because your government of Germany has probably not changed much. Look at all the governments of the world. So Germany is also responsible for most of the reconstruction of Gaza, and they're very tight with the Palestinian authorities.